So I want you guys to think about the last couple of weeks and the attacks that have been aimed at black men. Now watch this. Not from white folk, but from other black men. We got Magic Johnson, a black man, saying that black men should vote for Harris because that's the only acceptable choice. This is a man who has a black son who thinks he's a woman. Then we have 44th president of the United States coming out and saying that black men voting for Trump is unacceptable. He has the nerve to look in the eyes of black men who are out here working their off, grinding, taking care of their families, mature, responsible men, spiritually mature men, handling their business. This man that is worth, some estimates say, of $75 million has then the audacity to tell these same black men that it is unacceptable for you to vote any other way than what I tell you. I'm just starting to think now, like seriously, like this is all a game. Like this can't be serious. We're like in some twilight zone. We're just not like this ain't even real anymore. It's to the point to where it's become redundant and just useless to talk about. It's amazing to me how dumb and just how gullible that they think that we are. And the sad part is that many are just like that. It's really frustrating. Um, Now, if a white man came out and told a black man that it's unacceptable for him to vote a certain way, black folks would be all up in arms. All up in arms. You can't tell me that. I'm a grown, but then we allow another black man to come out and tell another black man, a grown black man on top of that, that he can't do what he so desires. It's just like listen, let me just say it like this. If there was a black man that was on the Republican side that was running for president, black folks still wouldn't vote for him. Black folks in a recent poll said that they wouldn't even vote for Condi Rice. Condi. They wouldn't even vote for her. They would vote for Harris over Condi. Can you believe it? Black folks said that they vote for Harris over Condi. What? Like this stuff is just becoming ridiculous, y'all. It's just becoming ridiculous. Uh, it's just becoming ridiculous. It's just ridiculous.
I really truly think that our government thinks that Americans are stupid. Like, I mean, like, really, really stupid. And that we do not research, that we don't look into things, that we just accept whatever it is that they give us and be okay with it. Because how many people are actually going to the Federal Register and checking out the executive orders that our presidents have signed and the ones that they have also revoked? Because until today, I was under the impression that a lot of things that were signed as executive orders by Biden were his. And I was also not aware that a lot of executive orders that Trump signed when he was in office that really benefited our country, that benefited minorities, that benefited women, that benefited protection of our children and our border were not only signed into law by him, but were revoked by Biden soon as he got in office. And I'm talking about as soon as January 20th. Perfect example. I remember how Biden was always talking about how he is the one who lowered prescription costs and the cap on insulin. That was false. Trump did that first. Let me just make that clear. He also signed an executive order that we have something called safe policing for safe Americans that was not only supposed to make sure that the police were doing their fucking job, but that they were held accountable if they were doing more than they were supposed to do when it comes to, racially profiling people, abusing their powers as police officers, that they were held accountable if they did those things. He revoked that law. He revoked it. There was also my favorite one, which was about gender and racial stereotyping. He signed that shit and he revoked it, which is probably how we ended up getting the DEI. Because this damn near really kind of the same thing. The only difference with DEI is it includes gender fluidity. Not bullshit. I literally sat there and watched how this man pretty much took and revoked a majority of the things that Trump put into place. He revoked the shit, and then when you go to his executive orders, he takes something similar, only rename it, but it be the same shit, and he claim it as his own that he signed into law. The shit is wild. Y'all gotta check it out. Y'all gotta check the shit out. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself.
Well, man, why are you attacking somebody black? I said, black people didn't put this up. They didn't have anything to do with this. I heard them planning.
The Obama administration did.
Well, that's it. Obama, what did he do for the black race? Nothing. Question you might ask, who's the richest man to ever be U.S. president? It's not Trump. No. It's Barack Obama. You know how? His adopted father, Lolo Soetoro, was one of the 10, 15 richest men on earth. And when he died, he left a trust fund in Indonesia with 3 equal beneficiaries. Barack Obama, then known as Barry Soetoro because he was adopted, and his 2 siblings. So he has a whole false claim about what his background is. But when he got in the White House, he'd been working for a law firm that represented his daddy. He got lauded by Goldman Sachs, who financed most of his daddy's American investments. He protected British Petroleum when they had to blow out in the Gulf because guess what? His trust fund had heavy investments in BP. So we get through this whole mantra, and even affordable care, Obamacare. You know who drafted it? Senior Tennessee Republican Senator Dr. Bill Frist when he was Republican Senate Majority Leader. Why? His family founded Blue Cross, Blue Shield, and most of the HMOs. His family's making a killing. So he retired from the Senate in 2010 when the Obama administration got past his drafted act from 2003. His game. And I don't have any problem with Trump either. I'm looking at lowest black unemployment rate since Lyndon Baines Johnson, more money to historically black colleges and universities at any time since Lyndon Baines Johnson. I mean, more Americans back to work. You know, like, what did you get for the last 3? Oh, and then this. You know that joke that they do about George W. Bush feeding Michelle candy? The inside thing on that is it's the same candy he fed her husband when he was 6, 7 years old. See, the Soetoros and the Bushes go back 40-some years.
Hi, I'm Susan Olson, and you may know me from a little show called The Brady Bunch, and this is my walk with video. I can't make a walk away video because I've never been a Democrat, and that's largely because of my grandmother. She was a staunch Republican, and if you walked into her house, you'd see tons of elephant figurines. She used to save all her dimes and give them to us grandkids because she couldn't stand to have a picture of Roosevelt in her purse. So she was pretty darn Republican. And when I was little, I grew up in California, and we had the Watts riots going on. And I wanted to know, what all the anger was about. It really bothered me. And she taught me about slavery. And she and my mother, my parents, she even bought me a comic book version of Uncle Tom's Cabin. And more importantly, she taught me that the reason she hated the Democrat Party was because it was started to keep slavery going. And the Republican Party was started to stop slavery. So, that convinced me. When I turned 18, I became a Republican, proudly voted for Reagan. And I remained a Republican until 2003 when I couldn't stomach W. So I became a party pooper. And as far to the left as I sometimes go, because, I still believe that liberal was a good word. And I'm open-minded. And I like to consider myself a classic liberal. But I've never even considered being a Democrat, because to me, the Democrat Party is the party of slavery. And I still see it that way. I see it that way more now than ever. But now they want to enslave us all. And I'll tell you how they're being real blatant about it. They're not even hiding it anymore, as far as I'm concerned. The attack on our First Amendment, the attack on free speech, which basically means, hey, we're the government. We have purchased the media so that we can propagandize you. And if any of you dare get out of line and start telling the truth, we will punish you. Now, I'm sorry, but that's third world country kind of stuff, in addition to so many other things that they're doing. Frankly, anything that they accuse Trump of doing is what they're already doing. Part of this war on the First Amendment is the war on our media. And I agree with Trump when he said, the media is the enemy of the people. Yeah, because they're lying to you. And I know that they're lying to you because they've lied about me. You may have even heard that once upon a time I was fired from a radio station for a homophobic rant. Well, it's not true. I was never fired. I spent the next 2.5 years at that same radio station. What happened was an argument between me and a very woke, aspiring actor seeking his 15 minutes. And it's not true. Yes, I went off on him. I sent him an email, private message. Nothing happened on the air, and he made it public. This happened back in 2016, and I was shocked that the media would go so far when all they had to do was call the station and find out that I wasn't fired and that nothing happened on the air. So I thought that they never bothered to do that. But a friend of mine said, no, they probably did bother, but they just didn't like the answer. They didn't like the truth. So they went with what they wanted to. I had hoped that this would die down. I was advised by people not to fight it and not to pour fuel on the fire. And so, I listened to the advice of people that are wiser than me. And we did a very Brady renovation, which had a lot of publicity. And this story didn't come up. So I really thought, okay, maybe, my friends were right. It did die down. So we had so much fun on that show that we Brady Brethren decided to, we wanted more. We wanted to work together some more. So we were working on a reboot, which actually it wasn't that bad. And we all had a hand in our characters. And I thought, this could be good. And what I liked most is that it was going to continue what Roseanne Barr had tried to do, which is to show a family who have different beliefs and different opinions, but at the end, they all still love and respect each other. But we know what happened to Roseanne. So it wasn't long before my agent got a call saying that the network that owns the franchise had a problem with me because of a homophobic rant that I had 6 years prior, where I was fired, and we explained it wasn't a true story. Anyway, they even did a social media search on me, in which they found a lot of things that I was saying during the time that I had a political show. And they thought that it made me too dangerous to play the character that I played for over 50 years. If the project continued, it would have to be without me. I stand by everything I said, although if I didn't have a political show, I wouldn't be so political. And I definitely would not be so political when under contract. I wasn't during the HGTV show. It's just not appropriate. But for everything that I said back in the day, I stand by it. I know that I was right. But in Hollywood, you can't be right. You must be left. It went through some metamorphosis. I was approached again, saying that they could bypass the network, whatever. But I have no interest. I promise you that I will never be part of a woke Brady Bunch, because to me, the Brady Bunch represents everything that the left are attacking. It represents an intact nuclear family, kids and parents who respect each other, and not to mention, well, a father who isn't an idiot, and a standard of living that we can no longer attain. And if the left have their way, we will never come anywhere close to that ever again. That is what the Brady Bunch stands for to me, and I will defend it. And it's far more important to me, even though I used to think it was super uncool. You know, now I'm a mom, I'm a patriot. I get it. I know why people love the show, and I do too. So it stands for principles that I stand for, and, you know, F Hollywood. They're a bunch of idiots anyway. If somebody were to come along and take the food from your child or grandchild's mouth, or take their country out from under their feet, you wouldn't stand for it. So why would you vote for it? Walk away. Don't walk away, run away. The Democrat Party is not what it used to be. It's not the party of JFK. It's not even the party of RFK Jr. They won't have him. I'm sorry, you know, it's like a dog that got rabies. Maybe you love that dog. Maybe you have great memories, but it's sick and it's going to kill you and your family. You got to walk away. Love you. Mwah.
Again. So the big thing was we started to have an increase of state helicopters coming into this direction, primarily because the old HLZ that they had established, FEMA took over. They basically took charge of it and then wouldn't allow anything but their assets to fly in there, to include State Patrol. They were denied. So as a result, our HLZ just got a little bigger and everybody else comes here now. We're an open system here. We'll take any helicopter, just don't come empty. Try to bring stuff. Frequencies 122.75. We're open until sundown.
Why do you think they closed it? Shut it down.
I really don't understand, other than the fact that maybe they do want control for maybe they're going to bring stuff in. I don't want to get into big, like, they're just doing this on purpose type of stuff. But honestly, at some point, you're really just acting out. Like, you have to be working hard to be this bad.
And what are you guys doing here? If you're describe for me again what this is.
So this right here is my ops board. All right, this is what they would call in a tower flight data. All right, it says all my helicopter names, what their mission is, where that mission is taking place, when that mission is going to happen.
All volunteer, right?
What's that?
All volunteer.
All volunteer, and we're not taking money from anybody except donations. No tax money. Every bit of water. We take a truck in every probably 2 minutes, and they're just dumping off water. We need warm weather gear. It's going to start getting rainy and cold up in here, and people need protection.
And over that ridge, you're suggesting is what?
On the other side of that ridge is a total disaster zone. It is a combat zone with friendly people who just need help, man. They got nothing. Whole towns are wiped away. People are living in schools. They're living in, sometimes half destructed houses, living out of their garages. It is not the environment you want to be in come this winter time. And we need to act fast to help people rebuild soon. All right, you can't be waiting 4 or 5 months for this.
How would you assess the federal response so far? Has it been adequate?
Has there been one? I'm serious. I mean, other than the fact that I've heard about a couple FEMA dudes and some stories, I haven't seen one. I haven't heard any of the people that I've talked to on the ground. Said, oh, FEMA was here yesterday. No, I've gone out 5 times. I've talked to people. I've been on the ground. I've shook their hands. I've given them a hug. Said, what can I give you? How's it been? You're the first people we've seen.
Wow.
You know what? And I'm glad about that, because I defend the country. I'm still defending the country. Period. It's not about politics. It's not about this. There's people on the other side of that ridge line dying in need of food, water, and just the basic necessities. And people are talking about money, and politics, and who's going to get credit for this.
Former Special Forces?
I am former Special Forces, yes.
All right, what's your name?
So Air Force Special Operations Combat Controller.
What's your name?
Aaron Schweitzer.
Aaron, thank you for your service.
Thank you for coming out here and showing the truth, man. I mean, people need to know this is not politics. We don't care who does it, just somebody do it, and do it right.